Welcome back. This is the 39th video in the Flow Certified Professional Training Series online. And in this video, we're going to look at using Flow to govern and lead your organization. And the key tools that we use for governing Flow and leading Flow is for the individual. The key tool is right results and the 4R model. For the team, it's driving using the 4D model. Same for the product. Then for the organizational level, we're going to look at Agile coaching, which includes innovation and anticipatory vision, as well as management consulting that looks at operational excellence. So there are some challenges for governing Agile organizations, and there's going to be some key executive roles. We're not going to go too deep into these. We touch on them again in the Flow Certified Coach training. So these are your challenges. Basically, in Agile organizations, you don't have command and control anymore. Not in the same way that you used to, where positional power was used and instead of personal power. So basically, you're losing the ability to say, do it my way or the highway. You can't micromanage anymore, especially when people are looking for autonomy, mastery, and purpose in their daily work. You micromanage them, all you're doing is contributing to disengagement. And if you really get people upset, they're going to actively work against you and the company. And this is where it gets a little tough for executives, because Agile is bottom up. It should be self-organizing. The body of Agile knowledge is probably or primarily team level. And so what about the enterprise? And we've been looking at the struggle between individual and team and product and organization, the left and right hand side. Where do the managers, senior managers, executives, and board of directors fit in? What are their new Agile roles? Is it possible to drive agility top down and bottom up? And this is going to change the way that leadership leads. You need to become a servant leader. We talked about that already in the video on servant leadership. So where do you fit in? You need to create the culture and the environment where people are safe to be able to become and be agile, not just do agile. And so your new role is a support role. It's a servant role. And you need to flip the hierarchy pyramid upside down and put yourself at the bottom. And you're supporting everybody who's further up in the organization from you. And then, is it possible to drive agility top down and bottom up at the same time? Absolutely. And if you want to be able to do the transformation more quickly, you need to use all 18 tiles that we've talked about in Flow, and it's probably more. But these are the ones that I've identified so far that are pretty much key to getting you to where you want to be. To do it top down means that there has to be a fundamental shift in the leadership mindset. And so that's part of their new role and in trying to structure the organization in a way that it will enhance the culture of agility. If you're doing things that are not enhancing the agility, you're just wasting your investments in agility. So you really need to think this through to begin with. And your way of working is going to change. How you deal with individuals. You need to look at the values and attitudes and truths and their actions and their results and use the 4R model to be able to work with your team members. And remember, I've got over here, their primary interest is autonomy, mastery, and purpose. For the team, where you're going to use the 4D model to lead and drive what you want to achieve there. And again, you've got vision in the center in all 4 boxes. This is a team facilitation level and Scrum Master. And so instead of telling people what to do or how to do it, let them figure it out. You hired them. They're supposed to know what they're doing. They might need some coaching and guidance to get to where they need to be. But the era of micromanagement is over. And if you want to really achieve remarkable results, you can't keep doing the same things over expecting a different result. Same for product. You need to have your customers embedded in there if you can. You need good agile coaching in this area, especially to help work with the product owners and the program managers and process managers, line managers. There's a lot of work that has to be done here. And we've talked a little bit about what makes a good agile coach. And then at the enterprise level, it just gets even more complex because agile coaching is management by pattern. Okay? Management consulting, on the other hand, is management by fact. Agile coaching is looking for innovation and anticipatory vision, seeing what's over the horizon, and helping to deliver extremely high value to the organization in these 2 boxes. Management consulting belongs in these other 2 boxes for organization and product. And it focuses on operational excellence. So if you're looking at the totally chaotic, complex, complicated, and then the simple, the whole point is to go through that pattern and take the chaotic and break it all the way back down to simple. That's the bread and butter for management consultants. So that's why we put VSPT in the middle here. We've got the VSPT for leadership, for people and tasks here on the left, and the vision, strategy, projects, and tactics. That's operational excellence on the right. That's how you get the hard work done. That's the processes we've put in place because they work and they get the job done. But there comes a point in time where you better be ready for creative destruction. As I already gave in the Nokia example, they had the touchscreen phone with a glass screen already in 2004, 3 years before Apple took over the market with the iPhone. And so if you can't do creative destruction, you're going to have that Kodak moment where you've got the digital camera in your hands and boom, you're out of business because you wanted to protect your core business at the expense of the future. Okay, so these are key things. In using all of these, and these are just some of the tools that we use to achieve what we achieve. We're trying to get to the unified vision, and it takes the individual in every box knowing what they're doing to get it done. So, moving forward, your new roles and your new responsibilities for executives that are leading and governing, vision and culture. Can't hammer this one home enough. You have to communicate your vision for the change 10 times more than you're currently doing. If you're not doing that, go talk to Dr. Cotter, who used to teach at Harvard, okay? He's done his entire research in this area. And if you want to succeed and do it well, then you better pay attention to that. And if you have a culture that is not conducive to Agile, you need to look at all of the things that we have in that culture slide and decide what is it that we're actually going to do and what steps do we have to do to take us step by step by step to the new culture and the new vision that we're trying to get to. Your key responsibility is now managing the communication and flow in all organizational lenses. So if you're a leader in that leader box, your job is to make sure flow is happening in your box and the other three. We did a survey inside a company, and we had taken all of the feedback from probably 150 interviews, both online and in person, about 45 in person, and we mapped it to the four boxes. And it was like in the individual box, it was like 4 post-it notes. In the team box, it was 12. In the product box, it was, let's say, 20. And in the organization's box, it was like 40, 50, 60 items in their box. And this was all the feedback coming from the organization, having them say, these are the things we see that need to be fixed. Instead of taking it to heart, that organization decided that, oh no, we're going to delegate this out. Care to guess how that turned out? They didn't get what they were trying to get to, because the minute that they did that, everybody who at the team level had participated in that and gave all that feedback, they saw that the executives were only talking the talk, they weren't walking the talk. And if you're only going to talk the talk and you're not going to walk the talk, you've already killed yourself. You've destroyed your credibility. So you really need to take that to heart. Lastly, you as the executives, you have to prioritize the work. Please stop just saying, oh, these 50 things, I need them all. Great. You don't always get what you want. And you have to prioritize. And you need to get down to that one thing and break that list down to one thing and hand it over to the team. And maybe it's one thing per team. You got to do it that way, because if you're not prioritizing and you're doing like what they did at the one organization that I showed up to, where they had 260 projects in the list and they could only do 58 a year. You're going to demoralize your teams, and just throwing mud at the wall to see what sticks and what comes out isn't a very good way of doing business. In fact, you probably only had less than a 25% chance of getting the right thing done at the right time for your organization. The other thing is that you need to know your organization's velocity or throughput. How much work can we get through the system? If you don't know that, how can you even lead? It becomes load balancing. This isn't rocket science, okay? Can be in some cases, but this really isn't rocket science. You need to know what your organization can deliver if you're going to have any chance of getting the right things done at the right time to deliver the value that you're trying to deliver to the organization. So, we're coming up on 78% complete. There's leadership challenges for governing agile organizations. And an executive waking up one morning and just saying, we are now agile, doesn't make your company agile. Parroting the buzzwords doesn't make you agile. You have to, everyone from the CEO on down, they have to go through the shift in the mindset in order to be able to create the shift in the entire organization. If the CEO is not shifting and everybody just sees that, latest flavor of the month, no, we're not going to do this. It will just kill the effort even before it gets out of the starting gates. We talked about your roles. You guys are responsible for the vision and the culture. The buck stops at your desks. And if the culture isn't working, if the culture's toxic, then you need to look in the mirror and figure out how you're going to fix that. You have to be communicating the flow at all levels, in all boxes. And if you're not prioritizing, and if you don't know your organizational velocity, in today's world, you're not going to last very long. You may still be breathing, but you're already dead. That's the long and short of it. Sorry, that's a brutal fact. and you need to manage from that brutal fact. So the application of this, look, take a moment to reflect on how your organization might be command and control in its leadership style. How much is it command in control? Because if it's command and control, why? Why is that? What would have to change in order to create a more organic, bottom-up, self-organizing, self-governing organization? We're all adults. If we're all pursuing excellence and we're all trying to do the right thing and we're all guided by a clear vision that's compelling, why are you micromanaging? Why are you exerting command and control? That means that there is something deeply wrong somewhere if you're doing that. This is also about in the terms of when culture collides, and that was in, if not one of the earlier videos, it's going to be coming up. But cultures do collide, they do crash, and you need to figure out how to smooth out those communication and those friction points that are keeping you from achieving truly great things.